Heavyweight in the 80s and 90s is a nostalgic phenomenon. It was at that time that such boxing legends as Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, Ruddock were revealed. George Foreman became world champion at 45. Then there was crazy competition for the title of number one in the division. To become the best, one had to go through fire, water and copper pipes. Donovan Ruddock, who bore the nickname Razor, is a powerful puncher, exemplary athlete and boxer who knocked out opponents and fell with equal skill.
They gave me an old racket. I went to the park and played with the wall for a year. Then he began to beat the guys who have been playing tennis all their lives. At the age of 14, I won a local amateur tournament in Toronto, but then this sport began to rise in price dramatically. Mom had 5 more kids and I didn't have enough money to go to country clubs.
Soon, a classmate suggested that Donovan go to boxing, where all that was required was a pair of gloves. The talented Ruddock quickly won the Toronto Golden Gloves middleweight tournament and then the Ontario light heavyweight title.
In the red corner, with a record of 12 wins, 1 loss and 1 tie, he weighed in at 215 3/4 pounds from Toronto, Canada, Razor Ruddock. Ruddock. The former WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Weaver.
The first opportunity to get a valuable scalp fell in the face of former champion Mike Weaver, an athletic boxer with good skills. The fight took place in the USA, and the audience fully supported Weaver. The American crowd effectively avoided oncoming strikes and worked competently close. Donovan tried to box from a distance and showed impressive speed. In the 4th round, Weaver shocked him, but the 22-year-old Canadian quickly recovered. At the end of the close fight, he won a split decision, but many felt that the more active Mike did enough to win.
I told you, Sam.
It doesn't take Weaver very long, Alexis.
Weaver still has his punching power.
Ruddock very gamely fighting back along the road, but
In 1988, the 22-year-old Ruddock entered the top 10 rankings of the major championship versions. He was broad-shouldered, long-armed and very fast, a boxer with a powerful blow. And George Chuvalo, famous throughout Canada, promoted and helped train him.
Instead, Ruddock was in a suit, and the news conference was more of a post-mortem.
At the time, I didn't really believe that they would back out of the fight because you're the most mightiest man on planet Earth, these guys are supposed to say he is, right? He never backed out of a fight before. 36 fights, he'd been in going there, boom, 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 knocking another one out. He came up against one guy from Canada, and he said, for what reason? What is the reason?
I am blessed with athleticism, but for me there is no sport that can compare with boxing. When I knock someone out, it's like I'm on top of the world.
In 1989, Razor defeated Bonebreaker Smith. The duel turned out to be exceptionally dramatic. In the 2nd round, Donovan missed a return from the right and flew spectacularly to the canvas, so much so that his legs almost left the ground. From that moment on, Ruddock, who has an unenviable ability to recover, took a tough fight. Smith, who initially led on points, was exhausted by the 5th segment. And in the last minute of the 7th round, Costello fell helplessly, missing a left uppercut. Now Donovan was waiting for an even more important fight with Michael Dokes, an eminent amateur boxer and former world champion in the pros. The winner had to qualify for the main WBA belt. The fight took place at the legendary Madison Square Garden in New York. Razor was considered an underdog. Shortly before the fight, Ruddock stopped sparring, injuring his right hand, but it was not really needed. By that time, the Canadian had developed an original left semi-lateral semi-uppercut, which was nicknamed Smash. This spectacular blow also had lethal force, and Donovan increasingly relied solely on him. Forgetting about the existence of other aspects of the boxing craft, a bright winning streak did its job. Donovan began to be perceived as a threat to top heavyweights. In March 1991, he meets with Mike Tyson. Tyson was the #1 contender in the 3 major championship versions, with Donovan placed right behind him in the rankings. The winner was to face the undisputed champion Evander Holyfield.
Round 1 scheduled for 12. It's in size, immediately apparent. Ready for it. He threw his bomb. Oh, all right. Big punch. He stumbled after the punch. Uppercut by Gracie. Another shot. This is from Douglas throwing an uppercut from outside. He's throwing from way out there.
Here, the fighters finally converged in the ring. The start was taken abruptly, and after the end of the first round, Tyson and Ruddock did not want to stop the exchange. In the second segment, Donovan counted out a controversial knockdown. At the end of the third, the situation repeated itself, but now everything was clear. Tyson hit a beautiful left side in response, and Razor danced and ended up on the floor of the ring. The first 5 rounds were for the enemy.
Round 2 is scheduled for 12. Oh, heavy right. Down goes Ruddock. Steele will have to warn him, and then he'll have to take a point. Tyson proposed because the hurricane is building up. There's a big right by Tyson that snapped Ruddock's head into the opening round. Now he's measuring Ruddock out.
But Ruddock was not going to give up. In the 6th he managed to land a lot of accented blows and slightly shake the formidable Mike. In the next 3 minutes, Tyson shook the Canadian and rushed to finish off. Referee Richard Steele intervened. The stoppage of the fight looked somewhat premature, although there was no doubt about Tyson's dominance. Both seemed to be better prepared for the second leg. The American started sharper, the Canadian moved more and used the jab more often. But this did not last long. It soon became clear that Razor had some kind of tactic, but he did not adhere to it. In the 2nd and 4th rounds, Ruddock went to the canvas. He began to stagnate in front of his opponent. Twice Donovan's seconds forgot to bring a stool to the corner of the ring. Finally, everything was complicated by a jaw fracture, received by the Canadian in the first third of the fight. And yet, Ruddock managed to win rounds, give Mike problems with a
big left by Ruddock. Oh, they hit after the bell once. But Richard Steele said that's the last warning. I'm talking. Round 5, Richie Giacchetti. Steele, warning. All right, uppercut by Ruddock, but it's a Steele, which refereed 83 title fights, and former Tyson's promoter Don King. There's a right hand by Mike Tyson. Or his honesty. A flurry. Tyson with another right. He's looking for that uppercut. He's looking for that one thing to continue. Tyson tiring out here also is in the cards. We are now closing down the 5th round. Watch the way Mike Tyson is with that uppercut. Then he comes back with it. Continues. You see that later on in that round. Tyson just doesn't give up. There's the right, there's the left, there's the right. He just... And he is well out in front of his goal, ready to go to continue into round 6 now. And Tyson right above us. But his hand is getting chopped down little by little. Oh, nice right hand by Tyson. Come on, round 10-8 round in the 2nd. So until you sit ringside up close. Tyson's head went back. He got. Well, let's see whether he's getting at it. Let's get at it.
The crowd was chanting, "Razor, Razor." Low blows by Tyson. Moves on here in the 7th round coming up. That seems to have taken some steam out of Tyson. Ruddock coming back. Now Tyson with a big left. This kind of barrage. Oh, what a right by Tyson. And Ruddock continues. Oh, the left. Now the right combination. Steele steps in. Is it over? It's over. It's over. And
that's going to be ugly now. That was two bad judgment.
But surely, and this thing is erupted into a riot.
He hadn't gone down. He was fighting back. It was not this one.
Taylor Chavez was for it. As Tyson comes together.
Uppercuts and make him step back several times. The competitive duel went the full distance and ended with Tyson's victory by unanimous decision.